General!
General.
General!
General.
General!
General. General.
Is Supreme Leader Snoke C3PO? We're about to find out.
So we're aware that this theory could be very far-fetched, but guys, you gotta hear us out. The resemblance is uncanny. The evidence is unmatched.
If you stick around for this whole video, you will be convinced that C3PO is Supreme Leader Snoke. And if you don't, you're fucking crazy.
To the various points that we're about to list you, and believe me, there are a lot, we will convince you why Supreme Leader Snoke is indeed the one and only C3PO.
A couple of days ago on Twitter, a photo was released of original Ralph McQuarrie art design for episode 7. The resemblance to C3PO is uncanny.
How come in the original concept art, Snoke had a red arm and compelling glowing eyes? Where have we seen this before? C3PO.
Ralph McQuarrie was a legend of his time, never making a mistake in the art design room. Always on point, bringing George Lucas's imagination to the paper and to life. So why would he create such a strange image? It is because Supreme Leader Snoke is C3PO.
Now, it's very far-fetched, but to be fair, why would Supreme Leader Snoke have a red arm and glowing eyes? In episode 7, why does C3PO have a red arm? These questions are all unanswered. This next clip was released by LucasArts on how C3PO got his red arm. It is clear to see that he is of the dark side of the Force.
No, this is very, very bad!
C3PO is Force sensitive.
Just before, we saw C3PO dwell in some of his powers. We see him force push the Ewok across the room, and then proceed to rip out Jar Jar Binks' heart.
In this scene of Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker supposedly lifts up C3PO into the air. But is this possible? Luke had little training, and it was from Yoda, who was very sick at the time. Anakin, his father, went through years of training and still struggled. How could Luke do all of this training in just a year, when a year ago, in Empire Strikes Back, he couldn't even lift a rock? It's mathematically impossible, and here's why. The average stone weighs about 14 kgs, and that's a foot-long stone. That's roughly about the size of the stone in The Empire Strikes Back, and we can tell this by measuring the weight ratio of Mark Hamill's waist. Mark Hamill's waist is approximately exactly a foot and a half long, and the rock is just quite that. Therefore, if we work it out, your typical gold bar is an eighth of the standard size of a foot-long rock boulder. Therefore, the standard weight of a gold bar is 12.4 kgs. Times that by 4, and that's 93.45.3 kgs. Anthony Daniels is approximately 5.9 feet. If you times that by the ratio of the kg weight of the gold bar, times that by 4, or the eighth, that equals to 30 times the original weight of the boulder. Now how could Luke do all this training in 1 year, from a very old, sick frog?
Considering the improbability that Luke had learnt all the skill in just 1 year by a little old, green, shrunken up little fucker named Yoda, it is impossible that he could have done that by himself. Lift 30 times the weight of just a small rock, which he could barely lift in the end of Empire Strikes Back. This means that Luke must have had help from someone. Someone wise, strong with the Force, and 100% Force sensitive. Alright. This means he had help from C3PO himself. Or should I say... Supreme Leader Snoke. George Lucas personally backed up this theory when he said, and I quote, C3PO could be Supreme Leader Snoke. Have you ever seen C3PO and Supreme Leader Snoke in the same scene? I didn't think so. It's because they haven't been in the same scene at all. In episode 7, they're not seen once throughout the whole thing. Suspicious? Or just a coincidence? I think neither.
In the novelization of The Force Awakens, it states that Snoke is a character who has seen the fall of the Jedi and the rise and fall of the Empire. That must mean he would have had to been in the whole saga. Now who has been in the whole saga? R2-D2? C3PO? Supreme Leader Snoke.
In conclusion, Supreme Leader Snoke is
C3PO.